The Cry from a Prison Cell, Nnamdi Kanu's letter to Donald Trump. From the silence of a prison cell in Abuja, a voice still dares to speak. A man whose only weapon has been his faith, his words, and his unbreakable belief in justice. This is the voice of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, a man whose story has shaken the conscience of millions. In November 2025, he wrote a powerful letter, not to his government, but to a world leader he believed could help stop a genocide. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, detained at State Security Services Headquarters, Abuja, Nigeria. His letter was delivered through the Embassy of the United States in Abuja, Nigeria.
Your Excellency, I extend warm greetings to you in the name of the Judeo-Christian faith and values we both hold dear. As a practicing Jew and a believer in the Judeo-Christian heritage that shaped Western
Civilization, I was honored to attend your campaign event in Des Moines, Iowa in January 2020. Your bold declaration on October 31st, 2025, that the United States is prepared to act militarily and cut aid if Nigeria fails to protect its Christian population, has ignited hope in the hearts of millions who have been abandoned by the world. You have seen the truth. Christians in Nigeria face an existential threat. I write to you now to reveal that this genocide is not confined to the north. It has metastasized into the Igbo heartland, where Judeo-Christians are being systematically exterminated under the guise of counterterrorism. I am Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, a peaceful, nonviolent civil rights movement rooted in Judeo-Christian principles. Since 2015, I have survived 4 documented assassination attempts by the Nigerian state. On the 20th of June 2021, I was forcibly abducted from Kenya in an extraordinary rendition operation, an act that violated Kenyan and international law, as condemned by a Kenyan High Court ruling. Despite this ruling, I was illegally transported to Nigeria and thrown into solitary detention in Abuja, without a valid subsisting charge and for the sole crime of defending my people's right to life, faith, and self-determination under international law. On 13th of October 2022, the Court of Appeal in Abuja discharged and acquitted me of all charges, ruling that my rendition was illegal, unconstitutional, and a gross violation of international law. The court ordered my immediate and unconditional release. Yet I remain in solitary detention, over 1,596 days since my abduction. The Nigerian government defied its own judiciary, refusing to release me as ordered. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention declared my continued imprisonment arbitrary, unlawful, and politically motivated. This is not justice. This is state capture of the rule of law to silence a Judeo-Christian voice, a hidden genocide against Judeo-Christians in eastern Nigeria. The same extremist-backed forces you have condemned in the north, Boko Haram, ISWAP, and Fulani militias, operate with state complicity in the southeast and Igbo-speaking territories. But here, the Nigerian military itself is the primary perpetrator, veiled by a false narrative that blames victims. These atrocities are irrefutably documented. Ningpor Biafra Heroes Day Massacre, 30 May 2016. At least 150 peaceful Christian worshippers killed. Amnesty International, bodies dumped in rivers. UN, security forces opened fire on demonstrators at St. Edmund's Catholic Church. National High School Abba Massacre, 9th of February 2016, 22nd killed on site, 13 bodies exhumed. Children executed for singing Sweet Jesus. Operation Python Dance 2, 12th to 14th of September 2017, 150+ killed in and around Kanu's home in Afarauku. No soldiers died. Obigbo Massacre, October 2020, at least 13 civilians killed, including children. Mass burials. A Christian town punished for protesting police brutality. Port Harcourt Trump Solidarity Rally, 20th of January 2017. Hundreds of Judeo-Christian supporters gunned down. The architect of these crimes? Lit Gen Tukur Yusuf Buratai, former chief of army staff. Appointed ambassador to Benin, granting him diplomatic immunity to evade ICC prosecution. This is state-sponsored impunity on a genocidal scale. Since my illegal rendition, Nigeria has declared IPOB a terrorist organization, despite zero evidence of violence. Orchestrated unknown gunman attacks using state-backed militias, then blamed IPOB. Killed over 2,000 Igbo youths in counter-terrorism operations. This is Rwanda's playbook: create chaos, blame the victim, justify extermination. A call to you, President Trump. You said America will act. Now is the moment. I urge you to launch a U.S. led independent inquiry into state sponsored massacres of Judeo Christians in eastern Nigeria, convene an emergency congressional hearing, impose targeted sanctions, and support an internationally supervised referendum on self determination for the Igbo people. In closing, Mr. President, history will judge us by what we do when genocide knocks. You have the power to stop a second Rwanda in Africa. One tweet, one sanction, one inquiry could save millions. I remain steadfast in peace, faith, and nonviolence. IPOB rejects every form of violence. We seek only justice, truth, and freedom. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob grant you wisdom and courage to deliver his people once again. With deepest respect and urgent hope.